one's actually nuts. Your car gets hit.
This is where I watched a car sail through the intersection, smash through my Volkswagen, and hang precariously over the lake.
Oh yeah. So one night.
This is all at
This
Rick's
is like
Cafe.
at midnight.
Naples Supermarket.
End of the shift, late at night, and one of my brother's friends came in, and he and I were also friends, and he had a broken heart, and he'd just broken up with a girl or something, and he wanted to talk to me, and I'm really tired, and I wanted to leave like at least 10 minutes before this, but I was sympathetic, and I talked to him. And it's a good thing I did, because while I was talking to him, I would have been, the way the timing worked out, I would have been in my car, and I might not have backed out. And I was driving a 1970 Volkswagen. A car came flying through an intersection, went straight across the road, smashed into my car, and my car was just collapsed. Well, no, it wasn't just collapsed. I have pictures, but it was seriously damaged, hanging over the lake. It didn't go in the lake. They were able to tow it.
Like
yeah,
teeter-totter?
Yeah, tilted.
Teeter-totter?
Because there was like a fence there, and so somehow...
Teeter-totter?
Yeah.
What is it?
I think it's teeter-totter.
Okay.
So there was a fence there that sort of stopped it, I think, from going all the way in. And the driver was inebriated. And so, I had to call my poor father. The car just got totaled, but I wasn't in it.
Oh my God.
I wasn't driving. It was parked.
Yeah, I'm glad you weren't in that car.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be making this podcast.
Right.
If you were. Well, I might not even exist.
That's right. You just never know.
Okay, so we're on to TikTok number 6.
This is where I was a 13-year-old waitress at a bean supper. This is where I bought a fur coat at the weekly rummage sale. This is where I danced in the fur coat. This is where I got stuck in muck boots while clamming with my gramp. This is where I fled when a random dog sauntered into my house and lay down on the floor.
This one was one of the funniest, most asked things, which is, what is a bean supper?
Yeah, I stood in front of actually a house, and I said, this is where I was a waitress at a bean supper when I was 13. Bean suppers were very common.
But why beans?
Baked beans, brown bread,
You know
rolls,
how much I hate beans?
pies.
I don't like baked beans.
But a lot of our followers didn't know what a bean supper was.
Yeah, and honestly, you're not missing anything.
Next. There's no more to that story.
So, I'm trying to remember. My brain, we've done so many. But this is where you bought a fur coat.
Mm-hmm.
Was it real fur?
What?
Was it a real fur coat?
Oh, am I going to get in trouble?
Yeah, by me.
Well, I think it was real.
Ugh. At least you got it secondhand.
But I got it secondhand.
I still don't like it.
It was probably fifth hand. It had been around. So this has taken a somber turn.
Yeah.
So I bought the fur coat. I bet I got it for 50 cents.
But, okay, so you bought this at a...
Actually, my sister and I bought it together.
Did you buy it next door at our house at the garage sale?
So there was a weekly garage sale next door.
Rummage sale.
Rummage sale. That's right. Rummage sale. Important distinction. Anyway, I bought a fur coat, and then I had just gotten a movie camera a short time before that. And so, of course, I put on the fur coat and went up the hill a ways to the local store, because why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And danced in the fur coat.
On video?
On video. On Super 8
Super
movie.
8, yeah. This one cracked me up because in no way, shape, or form did I, when people think I have a coastal Maine childhood, they think, like, I spend a lot of time on the water and the ocean, and I did absolutely nothing of the sort. So the fact that my mom wore muck boots while clamming
once
with her gramp is hilarious to me.
And that's all there is to the story.
You just got stuck?
I got stuck.
We lived in this house that was downtown Surrey, there is no downtown. We were just like kind of where all the roads just cross in together. This black lab saunters into the living room and lays down, but from my memory, my mom goes, oh, oh my god, stay on the stairs. Stay on the
I
stairs.
did. I remember that.
Don't move. Stay on the stairs. Meanwhile, this dog is wagging its tail, panting, lays down, maybe upside down, just like happy to be there. And furthermore, we knew this dog. We didn't right away recognize, like, my mom was, like, so panicked that the energy just really shifted in the house, and I suddenly am like, I actually like dogs, why are you making me... And she's like, yeah, I don't know, I gotta call someone. And now you can pick it up from here, because I don't know how it got resolved.
So my aunt, who lived across the brook,
Yeah.
I either called her
Yeah.
or I went over. I probably didn't leave the kids alone, I'd like to think.
With the creature.
Yeah,
on
with the creature.
on
I
the
called her.
carpet.
And she came over and got the dog out of the house.
You are insane.
I know.
But also, now we've got... Oh, you can't see her.
What?
My dog. But the way you reacted to dogs is...
Yeah, I was skittish.
Why?
I was fearful.
But why?
There was a strange dog in my house.
You left the door open for it. You're like,
I
hey...
didn't leave the door open for the dog.
You said, everybody come in. And that dog said, this place looks nice. Maybe I'll go have a lay down. Maybe I'll go take a nap in this house. This is one of the top asked story times is the toe in the ditch.
Okay.
People say on...
So here's... Go ahead.
People keep saying on TikTok, wait, you can't just blow past toe in the ditch.
Okay.
I'm going to need more.
So here's what I think happened. I said in the TikTok, this is where I think I saw a toe in the ditch. Now, the reason I said I think I saw is because I have a memory of it, but I wasn't positive that I saw it. So, but there definitely was, I talked to a couple people, there definitely was a toe in that ditch. And what apparently happened was the poor person who lost the toe, and I don't know which toe it was mowing the lawn barefoot, I think. I think. So that's why I don't have a good story for this. For one thing, it's a sad story to a certain...
Well, did the toe get reattached?
I don't know.
Did you walk by the toe just casually?
So I feel like this is what happened, but like I said, I cannot swear that I actually saw it. I might have heard about it.
Nor did I.
I feel like a couple of the kids who actually saw it came, running around, oh my God, so-and-so lost their toe and it's in the ditch, and that I went to see. I feel like I saw...
That is sick.
Well...
You are a sicko. You're like, there's a toe in the ditch? I must go see.
I know. That's why I'm not positive, because I'm not positive.
You're a little freak.
You're a little freak.
That's why I said I am not responding to that. That's why I saw it. That's why I say I think I saw a toe in the ditch, because I didn't want to lie, but in that particular instance, I'm not positive I saw it. But it happened.
I have seen you ask people who are involved.
Right.
And they have confirmed that there was a toe in the ditch.
Yes.
So this one actually, a lot of questions on this one. A lot of questions on this particular TikTok.
This is where a cannon caught my bra on fire. This is where I lost my falsie in the road and didn't know it. This is where a bad boy hung my falsie on a hook. This is where I marched in a parade as one of the Beverly Hillbillies. This is where I may have seen a toe in the ditch.
How does one catch their bra on fire?
Bra on fire.
911, what's your emergency?
How did I think I was in my 40s. That's the funny part.
Yeah, I was there.
Yep. You were like 7 or something.
Yeah.
And anyway, they're doing old home sort of days, Surrey days.
It was
bicentennial.
Bicentennial.
Yeah. Right, bicentennial. And I was asked to be on a float dressed up as a pregnant woman with like 5 kids. And so they put
What was the purpose of that float?
I have no idea. People asked me. It's hard for me to say.
You don't.
No.
You just say yes and you don't ask questions.
I'm like, okay. And my dad was going to be on the float too.
he
No,
the
he's in his
husband?
60s.
What was his job? Oh, that is also sick.
He was.
Was he the doctor? I've never thought about this until the way you just described this. What was his position on the float?
He was
Was he
dressed.
a nurse?
I think he was the.
Was he one of the kids?
He was on the float. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, but he had to have had a gig.
Yeah, his gig was to be on the float.
Okay.
I think he. All right. Anyway, my dad was on the float. And so I'm sitting on a rocking chair with this, huge pillow in my belly and kids around and supposed to represent a woman with a lot of kids. Maybe it was the old woman in the shoe. I don't know.
I need to see pictures because I need to know what Ozzy was doing on the float. Who was he on the float?
Don't perseverate.
Okay, sorry, go on.
Ruining the impact of
Go
my
on, go
story.
on, go on.
So we get settled in, and I'm probably in a foolish mood. I know that's hard to believe, and
Shocking.
my father always wanted to do things. He was often in a foolish mood too, but he always wanted to do things right, So he would have taken this very seriously. It was bicentennial celebration, so
Very serious time.
the parade, it was a small town parade. Probably had not more than 30 different people. Floats. Probably not more than 30 different floats, maybe less, maybe fewer. And the parade is going to start. And to start the parade, they had a cannon that would indicate, they like a recreational cannon.
We have discussed this on the podcast.
We have already discussed this on the podcast.
Because what the hell is a recreational
Right.
cannon?
So sorry to the people who've already heard this.
Yeah.
And sorry for maybe the details are different. Anyway, I didn't know it was going to go off. Bang! First of all, it scared the heck out of me. And second, somehow a spark from the cannon went down my shirt or
This
my
is
dress.
so typical.
And I'm going, And my father was so annoyed with me.
She's slapping her chest.
Yeah. My father was so annoyed with me. And he's like, what? He'd had enough. And here I am, like, in my 40s.
I can't get enough of Ozzy getting annoyed that you're on fire.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
He just thought I was making a scene.
oh.
I think he probably thought I was making a scene because of the noise. He didn't realize that I had been sparked and burnt.
Sparked and burnt.
You were sparked and
I was
burnt.
sparked and burnt.
So funny. So funny. So in a different parade, you were one of the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yes.
Which one?
Ellie Mae.
I don't know any of them, so I don't know why I'm acting shocked.
Ellie Mae was the daughter.
I have seen the pictures of you, which we need to post on the internet. Maybe we will with this story. But is there a story? Or you just were in a parade as Ellie Mae?
I was in a parade as Ellie Mae, and one of the other characters was Granny.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother was dressed up. She looked so much like Granny, the character at the time.
Yeah.
And so my grandmother was in it. And I feel like the other characters weren't really in it, but maybe they were.
Well, I saw that Uncle Cam was a little clown.
Yeah, he was a clown, but that wasn't a character in the Beverly
But I love
Hillbillies.
that he was just walking with you guys. So then, one of the biggest controversies on our TikTok, minus the tangled cord, is what the hell is a falsie?
All right. So, let me just tell you, I had no idea that people wouldn't know what a falsie was. No, I was clueless that I thought everybody knew that a falsie is an insert.
Well, we've talked about this on our first episode.
Right, so
because
we told the story.
I asked you about 15 times, like a chicken cutlet.
Right. Yeah. So we've already talked about it. So the story basically was, I sewed falsies, fake inserts into my bra so that I would look more attractive, in my opinion. And there was
Bigger
this
boobs,
guy
more attractive.
This guy that I was kind of sweet on. I was going to be spending time with him and some other people, so I stuck an extra set in, but they weren't sewed in.
You doubled up.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like that's better than tissues.
Yeah. And unbeknownst to me, it fell out in the middle of the road. And the next morning, you know, when we were walking, don't ask me how, why, whatever. It just kind of moved up and out. And so the next morning,
You didn't even notice?
no, I didn't know it had been.
That's crazy.
It had fallen out.
How do you know it moved up and out?
Well,
like,
I know.
how would it go, like, up and out? Wouldn't it be down and out?
Yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
The guys came to the door and told my sister that they had found it in the middle of the road. And then they hung it on a hook outside the house. And God love her, my sister went and got it off the hook.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's basically that
She
story.
retrieved it for
Yeah.
you. So you saw a colonial woman.
A ghost of a colonial woman.
Yeah, ghost of a colonial
I was
woman.
driving home late one night, going down a road with my husband, and I don't remember if the kids were in the car or not, but
I know, when you said that, I was like,
I feel like you were, but
I
maybe
feel
not.
like I have a vision of it when you said that. And then I was like, was I actually there? I
Yeah,
don't
maybe
remember.
not. We go around the corner, and we're just driving down this road a little bit, and all of a sudden, on the right-hand ditch, this spirit or person, I think it was actually a person dressed in colonial clothes. I think it was a practical joke.
I don't think it was, because that seems like such an elaborate prank.
I know, but what a great prank.
Such a good prank, but I don't know if people really have the ambition to create a prank.
Well, I
as
don't
good
know
and
what it
serve.
was, but I think your father and I both saw it, and we turned around to go back. Like we were so tired, but we were blown away by the fact that
It was just a colonial
there was
woman.
a colonial woman. When I say a colonial woman, she was dressed in a long, long dress.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what
we
I
just
picture.
drove by.
Yeah,
That's what I remember, and maybe had a cap on, but I don't know.
that's so funny. Like a bonnet.
Yeah, but I don't know that either.
Your note for the next one is just Ryan dump.
Yeah, one time your dad didn't tell me, and he took Ryan to the dump, and I called the police because I thought Ryan was missing.
And that's
it.
that. All right, and then there was a car accident that you heard.
Right, I was in the garage one morning getting ready to go to work, and I heard like a squeal of brakes, and this car drove kind of on a little bridge, kind of into the side rail of the bridge. It wasn't dangerously overlapping or anything. And so I ran over, or probably walked fast, to see if he was okay. And he looked up at me from his car and he goes, "Going around that corner a little fast, weren't you?" He thought I was driving a car that he had almost hit.
Do you remember what you said back to him?
I probably laughed because I at that point knew he was okay.
Fine, yeah.
Like I wasn't driving. I live right here. I'm checking on you.
Yeah. But now I've decided not to check on you.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Love the lay the tar.
Yeah. So there were these people doing pavement work, and they were parking their trucks on my property, with like tar dripping off the trucks and making a general mess of things. And I was
General
annoyed.
mess of things?
A general mess. I was so annoyed, so I went over to talk to the guy, and I'm like, "You're parking on my property. You're destroying some of my property." And he goes, "Ma'am, we just roll into town, lay the tar, and leave."
I kind of love that.
So
It's like, I'm just doing my job, lady.
yeah, and so that was kind of the end of it, and they didn't really park there anymore. I don't believe.
Love it. Okay, Carl.
This is where the unemployment office sent me. They told me to go in the front door and holler for a guy named Carl. Carl! This is where Carl motioned for me to follow him down cellar. This is where Carl showed me around his basement kitchenette, and then I sat on the ratty couch, and he sat at the switchboard for the answering service.
We got to talk about Carl. You have
So I was looking for a job.
You have an additional fact about Carl that I really. This is like this is some bonus content about Carl.
I was looking for a job. I had graduated from college, and
It's getting really bright over here.
I went to the unemployment office because you could get, job listings or whatever. And one moment, please.
Diet Coke break.
Gave me the address of this guy, and they said he needs a switchboard operator. He operates an answering service in his house. Now, I didn't have a clue, and they gave me this piece of paper with an address and his name, first name on it, probably first and last, but his first name on it, and said, just go there, knock on the door, and holler for Carl.
Carl!
Because he would be down cellar in the answering service, working the switchboard.
It's not sketchy at all.
No. So I went there. I followed the directions. I don't think I thought anything was weird about it. I went there and I'm like, Carl!
Carl!
And this old guy comes upstairs and greets me. And I said, I'm here from the unemployment office. And he went on and on about how he had just been praying for me to be there. Not me, but, somebody to come help him. And like I was a gift. It was a gift that I had shown up.
Wow.
And all that. And we go down in the cellar. He had a ratty red couch. And there was a switchboard with, according to my diary, I think 270 different places to stick the,
Wow. Yeah.
And he was working the switchboard while he interviewed me. So I sat on the couch behind him, and he interviewed me, but he did all the talking. And I just kind of sat there, and he hired me to work as a part-time switchboard operator, which I ended up doing for several months.
Wow. Did you like that job?
I liked it in one respect. It was challenging. I mean, the bad thing about that job for me was I have illegible handwriting. It's truly illegible. So you had to take messages very carefully.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't make a mistake. We had doctors, lawyers, oil companies, all kinds of emergencies that might happen. And you had to write down, and then you had to follow up with a phone call. And you might have 5 calls coming in, and you've put them on hold.
Oh.
And if you were... For busy times, they would have 2 of us sitting there. That's when I liked it the best, when I was working with somebody else.
Yeah.
Because we'd be cracking each other up.
Yeah.
You know me. I gotta love a story.
Yeah.
So I liked it the best. And Carl was very happy to hire me. And I worked the overnight shifts at first, which didn't need 2 people. So Carl would come down and keep me company and just tell me his whole life story at first. And I'm trying to learn how to do this and listen to Carl.
Carl!
And his wife had recently died. And so one night, soon after I started working there, he said, I'm going to give you some of my wife's clothes. And I was very polite.
Did you take them?
I take them. I think this podcast has gone on long enough.
I take them.
I wrote in my diary, I think, that he had a really pretty purple outfit that I gave to my grandmother.
Oh, you regifted? Wow, that's funny.
The beauty of keeping a diary.
I love this. All right. Great. Thanks, Carl.
Carl!
So the 10th and final TikTok.
This one went way viral.
Viral. Are you okay?
I'm exhausted.
Do you need to go to the hospital?
I'm exhausted.
She's exhausted from reading known comments about herself.
This is where I got stuck in the water slide. This is where I got kicked out of King's for chasing my friends with shaving cream. This is where I was a bridesmaid and never saw the bride again. This is where, moments after meeting me, the hairdresser announced, I'm going to cut your hair like this to focus eyes away from your Rubenesque belly and your double chin. This is where a guy called me from out of the blue and said, remember me from Nevada? I didn't, but I drove down here and met him and pretended I did. This is where I drove by an escaped cow running in the ditch.
So the story basically was, I was really proud of myself for going down a slide because even climbing the ladder to go up was a challenge for me. And it was my son's birthday party, and so I went up and I start going down the slide squealing, and all of a sudden I get stuck and I can't move forward, and I'm like, I'm in a panic. And then
I can't remember if it was my brother or me
or your cousin maybe,
or my cousin that came down next, but one by one we slide down and we go smash right into my mom. And then we're getting annoyed. We're like, Mom, I remember that. That's how the slide works. And we're getting so upset with you. But I believe it was, I remember it being Ryan, me, and then a stranger coming down. And then finally the stranger was the one that got us, pushed us all down together. So we rode down the rest of the slide together. So that's that.
Yeah. Simple. Just what I said on the TikTok. This is where I was a bridesmaid and I never saw the bride again.
So you were a bridesmaid in a wedding where you never spoke to the bride again, which apparently is a common thing.
It's a thing.
Did not know that. The fact, like, just shooting weddings and just thinking about all these people that are so close to the bride, just never speaking to them again is so wild to me. I can't conceptualize that. Because it's such a intimate thing.
Yeah, this bride moved. Like, she moved out west or she moved somewhere. And I've tried to find her through the years. You would think through Facebook and stuff, and I can't find her.
Well, if she's out there and she sees this on TikTok. Yeah. That's a hot topic on TikTok right now. Wondering if you married the Nevada guy, what happened to him?
So,
how did you meet the Nevada guy?
I worked in Reno at a casino for like a total of 6 months.
I worked in Reno at a casino.
Yeah. I was a change girl and a cashier. And I just was out there for a brief amount of time in the early 70s. And I had a great time. And 3 or 4 years after that, I was living at home in Maine. And I got a phone call. And the guy goes, "This is so-and-so. You remember me? You and I worked as you and I worked as like cashiers in the casino and all that. And you told me that if I ever came to Maine to look you up." And I didn't remember him. Like on the phone, I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't remember this person." And he said, "I'm down." He was at a nearby store, like a 10-minute drive from my house. He said, "And I'd love to see you." So I got in my car and I drove down, and thank goodness he was sitting in his Volkswagen with Nevada plates, because really I didn't recognize him. I couldn't bring up in my memory him, and he was
even his looks. You just didn't know.
I didn't. I mean, he looked vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
But that time, I don't know. I'm usually good with faces and names, and I knew. I mean, he was funny and genuine, and I knew that. He would have been the kind of person, and I gradually had a sense, okay, I was kind of remembering it.
Yeah.
But I didn't really remember him, but I didn't tell him that because I didn't want to hurt his feelings at the time.
Yeah.
And he and I talked, but we did talk about people that I had known out there, and he caught me up on a few people that I had known. And it was a 20-minute conversation.
Oh, wow.
It was only 20 minutes, and then he left, and I never saw him again. But fast forward to about 3 days ago, and I found him on Facebook and reached out to him and confessed the whole thing to him. He responded.
Did he love it?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
what did he say?
50 years ago. He said, "Yes, I do remember."
Oh, isn't it funny that he can remember you 50 years
Yeah.
from that moment? Hairdresser at JCPenney.
Went to the hairdressers at JCPenney. The woman and I talked about how she was going to cut my hair, and she said, "I am going to cut your hair like this," and showed me some magazine picture or something, "in order to focus eyes away from your Rubenesque belly and your double chin." Now, I want to say, which is not clear on the TikTok, I don't think I was insulted. She was like, because she was like a serious person. She really didn't have much of a sense of humor. She was a serious person, and I let her cut my hair. I don't know how to explain it. She wasn't being jokey. She was being serious.
Yeah, that makes it worse.
Well, that's the story.
I love that. I have such a, like, the JCPenney hair salon is such a childhood staple to me because you would bring me when you got your hair colored there,
Yeah.
and I would just go walk around the mall.
And I went to that same woman quite a few times. Don't remember if it was before the Rubenesque comment or after.
The light is really just like,
Yeah.
it's like wants me to.
Yeah, we need to finish
Go
this
away.
up.
Do we want to talk about the cow?
Yeah, it's a very simple story.
We drove by a cow.
Running in the ditch.
I was there. My cousin was there.
And it was the
And the cow was there.
It felt like the funniest sensation to be driving by a cow
And
running
just like-
in a ditch, like a horse would run.
Yeah, and it almost was like, it was just parallel with our car,
Right.
which made it funnier. Like, it was
Right.
running so fast, and the speed limit wasn't very high.
It was one of
so
those
just
things
like-
where you don't. Did I just see that?
Yeah, it was great. Well, thank you for listening to our rapid fire story time, even though nothing about this was rapid at all. We hope you like it, and we filmed some more of these This Is Where today that we're probably going to upload this week. If not today, who knows. Yeah, and thanks for loving my mom as much as I do.
Oh,
Um,
that's sweet.
I regret saying something nice now.